Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I hope you're all doing well. Today we're going to be comparing Workhorse, Nio, and Hyliion, and these are all relatively hot stocks that are in the EV market. And I'm just going to come out right and say that I actually bought Hyliion stock after it hit over $55 and it's down by over 50% since then. And I'm going to say why I didn't buy Workhorse or Nio instead, okay? And they've all had recent news come out in the past week or 2 weeks that I think eliminate, at least for me, eliminated the chance of me buying Workhorse or Nio, at least for the time being, okay? So let's go over Workhorse first. A $2.4 billion market cap right now, and it has just received negative news. Well, at least not really any news. There's been actually a company that came out with a short position in it, like a short research company. And I mean, since then the company, like at least monthly, has been down 25%. Is now trading for $22, and we're just gonna look into this. And I think that because the USPS contract is delayed, and although there was so much hype about the USPS contract, because the USPS contract is delayed, this actually pushes Workhorse's stock price down. Okay, so new allegations make Workhorse even more unappealing. The risk reward ratio of Workhorse stock is highly unfavorable. And so Workhorse, this article is saying it's facing multiple new risks on top of numerous red flags. I continue to recommend that investors sell Workhorse stock. So a new report by a short selling firm, including damaging info about Workhorse, came out. And moreover, the shares are likely to be hurt in the short and medium term by the delay of the important USPS post office contract. And so the short seller researcher Fuzzy Panda issued a report in which it stated that it believes that Workhorse has no chance of winning a huge deal to provide USPS with new vehicles. And we'll go over that short seller report, which came out on the 8th of October. So, they talk about Hindenburg Research and how they exposed Nikola, a high-flying EV company, as an alleged intricate fraud. The stock fell over 50% in the process. And Nikola has since admitted to purposely rolling a truck down a hill to mask the appearance of a working prototype for a promo video. And then they're saying Workhorse rolled a USPS prototype truck down a hill accidentally, not purposely, after their parking brake failed, causing a Union USPS driver to be hospitalized after jumping out of the runway vehicle. We think this debacle, as well as the numerous other critical failures we will lay out, destroyed Workhorse's chance of ever landing a USPS award. Okay, so the parking brake failed that Workhorse had designed and installed. The truck ran away. The USPS driver, a union member, had to jump out of the truck while it was moving. He was injured while jumping out of the truck. He was actually hospitalized. I think he broke his leg. The post office was very angry about this, and it resulted in the USPS refusing to do any more testing for several months. Okay, and they go on to talk about how Workhorse destroyed the USPS relationship further. Once the USPS realized they were constantly being misinformed. So, and then they talk about major customers like UPS have already moved on from Workhorse. UPS completely removed any mention of Workhorse in all literature. The UPS contract now belongs almost exclusively to Workhorse competitor Arrival. Workhorse's large UPS order is solely for on-demand fulfillment, which UPS has not asked for in years. Okay. And I totally agree with this point as well. So, Workhorse has a nefarious past working with stock promoters charged with fraud. Nothing has changed as we uncovered an ongoing scheme that now appears to have moved to YouTube, right? And there are a lot of YouTube channels that actually promote Workhorse and are into Workhorse stock. And they don't provide the complete picture, right? They provide the bull side of Workhorse, but not the bear side, right? And so they're saying the 420 plus videos spell out a pattern of deceptive practices. Workhorse and Lordstown management have supported the stock promotion by actively participating in interviews with the promoters. And it's not just their participation in interviews, it's also just, for example, YouTubers like My Financial Friend who constantly puts out Workhorse videos and talks about like how there's going to be a short squeeze going on in Workhorse, that will pretty much push the stock price up by potentially hundreds of percents, right? So um, I think right now, at the current moment, I mean, sure, the stock has decreased over the past month by like 25%. But even if you look at year to date, this used to be like a $1.50 stock, so it's still an incredible 1,300 over 1,300% increase in the price of the stock, right? So it's still, in my opinion, largely overvalued. Again, especially since I didn't even know that this report existed, and it existed since October 8th, right? That's just me not doing proper research, I guess. But I just think that because there's such a hype around the EV market, as we'll see again with Nio, that I don't think Workhorse is a buy, especially since a lot of investors were like, oh yeah, Workhorse is going to be the main winner of the USPS contract, right? So if you want, I can do a more in-depth analysis of the short seller report. But for now, I just want to say that that's the main reason why I'm not buying Workhorse, or why I decided not to buy Workhorse, right? So let's move on to Nio. Again, Nio is a stock that recently has just jumped. Since March, it's up over 1,000%. In 6 months, it's jumped over close to 800%. So it's been on a tear, right? This company is valued at $38.8 billion. And why? So pretty much, why did it trade at around $3 a share just 7 months ago, and now it's at like $28 a share? Well, in New York, investors were calling the company, so on Wall Street, they were calling the company a flop. That put them off from other startups, and it was bleeding cash, right? And I mean, it still is technically bleeding cash if we look at the financials. If we look at the quarterly reports, it was like first quarter, it lost $1.7 billion. In second quarter, it lost $1.2 billion, right? So it was bleeding cash. But since March, the stock has soared by more than 1,000% to 26.50, and then again more than 22% this past Wednesday alone, and now it's like trading around, as we can see here, $28.50. Okay, so why the turnaround? Analysts at J.P. Morgan as well as Citigroup nearly doubled their price target on the stock to $33. And said that new factors had emerged to support their belief in the automaker's growth, including a very strong order backlog, blah blah, and recent market share gains and its efforts to cut battery costs. Okay, so also part of the reason why it didn't flop was because it received heavy funding from some major China investment players, such as these two, Baidu and Tencent. So, before it even had it sold a single car, Nio focused heavily on creating a brand, selling millions of dollars worth of hats, etc., etc. And an injection of 7 billion won, or 1 billion, in April by state-backed investors in the Chinese city of Hefei, where Nio recently set up new headquarters, was critical in restoring investor confidence. Sorry, I don't think it was these companies actually that provided funding for Nio. All right, so pretty much, in my opinion, because there has been such a run up in Nio stock, for those who have invested in Nio and had made such tremendous gains, congratulations to you. And I don't know how they'll be able to compete with Tesla. That's my main argument against buying Nio and why I didn't buy Nio. And I mean, it does have some promising news. So, the immediate catalyst that could decide the stock's trajectory is the October deliveries number due in early November. With deliveries of its third mass market model, the EC6 ramping, and another record monthly number could be in the offing. So they also began delivery of the 5-seater premium electric coupe SUV on September 25, and Nio is due to release its third quarter results around mid-November. And they think that the loss per share will narrow from $2.38 to 18 cents. Okay, and the revenues are expected to climb 145% to 643.8 million. And I mean, we can see here, if we just go on analysis, we can see, yeah, this current quarter, projected sales growth of 144%. Next quarter, 94%. So, huge revenue growth potentials. And also, the company is also expected to unveil its next vehicle model, speculated to be a new high-performance premium all-electric sedan named the ET7. So, I mean, this company has a lot of good things going for it. I just see that, Nio is sort of going to be undercut to some extent by Tesla, which is going to take a majority of the market share of the EV plays in China. And Tesla is a very respected brand, and Musk is very respected in China, right? So I just don't know that I want to put my confidence in Nio when there's something like a Tesla that's has already demonstrated that they can earn profits, that they're not bleeding cash yet, and of course, I mean, it's a $40 billion company against like a $400 billion company, Tesla. But I do think that it has way more advantages, and so I'm very speculative, or I'm very hesitant to buy Nio, especially since a run up of over 55% just in the past month, right? So right now, that's the reason why I'm not into Nio. I think that Tesla is quite ahead in developing cheaper batteries, cheaper cars, and more efficient batteries and cars. Anyway, so that's why I'm not in Nio. But again, for all of those invested in Nio, congratulations on making it and you know uh, getting 1,000% increase in your stock over the past 7 months. Okay. And the last company I saved for last, and this is Hyliion. And this was a stock that um, topped out over $55, and since then has decreased by 50%. And I bought it around, I think, $27.50. I bought it around $1,000 worth. And why? Well, I think this is a very, very interesting play. And there has actually been a recent short seller report by Bonita's Research. And this guy actually, thank you for this response to the short research report. And I mean, it's right here. You can read it. And it talks about a few things, but I'll just go back to the Yahoo Finance article or comment. And so, this company, Bonita's Research, is a short company with short positions in Hyliion, who actually lost a lawsuit in Australia for not exercising care in their research. Okay. And so you can pause the video and go through all the facts and his comments to those facts that Bonita's Research came out with. And I mean, we'll just talk about one thing. So Jim Cramer came out and said that he actually says, don't buy the stock, but maybe purchase the stock at around $20, and we can hear him here.
My big concern here is the stock price. When Tortoise Acquisition announced the Hyliion deal, its stock spiked from $10 in mid-June to $34 less than 2 weeks later. It cooled off from those levels before roaring to the mid-50s after Tesla really took off in August. Now, I have repeatedly warned you about the way these SPACs trade. They tend to spike going into the deal, and then they pull back hard when the transaction went through in late September. The newly minted Hyliion stood at 53. Since then, it's come right back down, falling to 28 as of today. I don't know if you've seen it. It's been hideous. The darn thing got way too hot for it.
Right. So he's just saying that, of course, with SPACs, you always have to be careful where you invest in. He recommends actually, that the risk reward will be favorable when the stock trades at around $20. And the dirty secret with Hyliion, he also states, is that it's not necessarily an EV play, right? It builds electric powertrains for natural gas and diesel trucks, which is a very unique and niche market. And Hyliion is the only player in this market at the moment until Tesla makes an all-electric truck, right? And I mean, I'm also invested in Tesla, so I'd be happy if it does it. But I think that this is a step forward for Hyliion, and also despite the short seller research report, they actually have good news coming in like 2 days ago, right? Hyliion wins an order of 250 Hypertruck ERX vehicles, as well as discontinued RNG facility for its customers from American Natural Gas, right? So Hyliion actually has proved products out on the market, right? Which is very different for something like a Nikola, which rolled down its prototype down a hill just to showcase its truck, or even Workhorse, which has a functioning sort of vehicle. However, it is very prone for accidents, like the USPS one that we just saw with the other short seller report, right? So maybe I should have waited to buy into Hyliion, but I do believe that this stock will rebound eventually, and I am holding for the long term, right? And we'll just read here. Hyliion, the company championing electrified powertrains and hybrid suspension systems for Class 8 trucks, has finalized its first major deal today after having merged with the SPAC Tortoise acquisition earlier this month. So as per a press statement released today, Hyliion has secured a sales agreement with American Natural Gas that entails a pre-order of 250 Hypertruck ERX vehicles. So Hyliion and ANG also entered into a sales agreement that includes a pre-order, blah blah, allowing for early availability of Hyliion's fully electric powertrain to ANG and its fleet customers. So again, this is a very niche market, and I do believe that as it's valued right now at $4 billion, I think it is a good long-term play. And again, it might come down. It might even go to $20 like Jim Cramer said. I believe that in the research report, they call him like the bald pundit. Yeah, he's like, on October 15, Jim Cramer's Mad Money cautioned investors to be patient and that Hyliion is not a buy at these levels. If the bobblehead pundit doesn't think your stock is a buy, who does? Well, I mean, this is wrong from Bonicha's research because they didn't mention that Jim Cramer likes the story and feels that at 20, this is a buy. This $20 point is based on risk and reward of stock investing, which of course is valid. So again, thank you, Fraj, for this report. If you want me to do more in-depth analysis of the short report on Hyliion, let me know. But yeah, overall, I bought Hyliion and not Workhorse or Nio. Nio, I think it's incredibly hyped up, and I think it has huge potential. I just think that the main competitor being Tesla, it's going to be very, very hard to compete with that guy and the Tesla gang. And I think Workhorse, because it was so hyped up by the YouTube community, by the EV craze in general, that I think it has a long way to drop from its highs of around $31, and especially since there has been some manufacturing and technical problems with its trucks. And I think at least Hyliion has a proved electric powertrain on there that supplements diesel and hybrid trucks, which is definitely the move in my opinion, and huge projected revenue potential. Okay, so let me know in the comments what you think the best play here is. And I'd love your support with a thumbs up and with a subscribe. And I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Take care.